So I totally agree with what you three said, and you and the other during these days. And we take for granted that being in a cultural diplomacy forum, we all believe in cultural diplomacy. And we don't have to explain each other what the cultural diplomacy is. And then all the speakers that I heard, they had enlightening speeches, and I wish to bring you from that national, international level to the local level. I have to thank Abdulaziz because, my friend, you cited the Creative Cities Network. And I really attached to that UNESCO network because born in 2004, as you said, and when I was deputy mayor in Bologna, Bologna was the first European creative cities on music. Thanks by Benedetto Zacchiroli, that is an amazing leader that bring Bologna and this city to that network. Then there is, UNESCO has 3 networks of cities. I'm president of the second one, that is the ECCAR, the European Coalition of Cities Against Racism and Discrimination. And the two things are really linked together. Cultural diplomacy is at the international level, between nations, is really fundamental. But if we think on how the world changed in the last 80 years, the United Nations system was drawn after the Second World War and was another world. The world of today, in the world of today, of course the nations are really important, but there is another level that is really, really important, that is the local level, that is the city level. And I strongly believe on the city-to-city diplomacy for just one reason. The bad, the good, usually our lives, they are happening within cities, within that specific community. Also nowadays, when the youth, they migrate or decide to move outside their born country, they, at least in Italy, I don't want to be a generalizator, but so in Italy they don't say I move to UK or I move to US. They say I move to Washington DC. I move to work and live in New York City. I wish to work in Madrid, not in Spain. Because in there is a community with a specific identity, with services, welfare, and so on. So the importance of the cities and the leadership within the cities is really, really interesting and important nowadays. And it is important that the national level look at the bottom level and hear the voice from there. And I can cite my personal experience. I'm born politically as a deputy mayor. But, and at that level, in a small city like Bologna is 500,000 citizens, is not so huge. And I was involved in the social department. So welfare state, so the migrants, how to welcome them, how to integrate, question mark, or to include them, or how to inspire them to have a sense of belonging of that community that were welcoming them. And okay, at that level, at the city level, to me, the migrants, not everybody, were faces, were life, were children, were specific people that I can meet in the square of Bologna, in the street of Bologna, in meetings. Then what happened? That's luckily or unlucky for my nation, I was called to serve as the chief of staff of the Prime Minister. At that time, there was a Germany with Madame Merkel, there was a France with Monsieur Hollande, and at the first Council of Europe I presidency, there with the Prime Minister, I heard that big, huge leader speak about migration, but about numbers. There were like a market, how many migrants you can take in your nation, how many migrants you can take it. To me was a shock. But of course, it's natural that at that level, you have numbers to work with. But it's not only figures, our people, our lives. And at the city level, you can see that. It's for that, just to recap, that I think that we need to bring cultural diplomacy also at that level. I bring you an example. During the summer in Bologna, we have this culture things that is the open air movie. Okay, for 2 months, we have the biggest open air screen in Europe, in our European cities, because we have the film archive that is the best in Europe for the restoration of movie. Charlie Chaplin, Martin Scorsese, and other, Pasolini, Fellini, all the archive of that movie is in Bologna. And so we offer to the community, and the community enjoy his treasure with this movie. Then 1 year we had the idea that in 60 nights we could dedicate, for example, 3 nights to Bollywood, and not only Hollywood or the Dolce Vita of Fellini. At that time, with that decision, a miracle happened. That all the Bangladesh original camera from there, the Bangla, the Indians that are living in Bologna, they filled the square, and was a party, a fantastic happening with the Italians, with the autochthones and the newcomers, that they recognize their culture, that they can present to the Bologna citizens their culture. And that was really an operation of cultural diplomacy within the city. For what? Not just to enjoy, but to build a society and a community that is more inclusive. Is that the secret? Because at the end, cultural diplomacy is nothing, is not for itself. It is not an operation to enjoy something and sing and say, yes, play cello because it's amazing in terms of cultural diplomacy. On me, I can try to ruin your ear playing saxophone. But so, the idea is just, the final goal is the peace, is the social cohesion, is to live together in peace. Just trying to make smoother the corner of our identity, just to accept the other as they are in our society. So I finish just remember you that the Nobel Prize of Economy laureate this year, 2024 actually, but so it's okay. They were a Turkish economist and other 2 Americans. They demonstrate, the reason they won the Nobel Prize in economy was that they demonstrated that the government, national government and the local government that work and improve the social cohesion, they are more rich than the others. There is also a mathematic demonstration that inclusion is something that make that community richer, also in economical terms, not just richer, you know, philosophically, oh yes, I'm culturally rich. No, in your wallet, in the wallet of the community. This is the asset, and this is the spin that the cultural diplomacy can give to the local level, to the national level, and the international level. And that is UNESCO intuition, to bring this idea to the local level, to the city level. Remember that, not just the nation, but also the city level is really, really important, and the 2 are not in competition. They are absolutely need to be integrated as one system. Thank you so much.